about you choosing violence.
Hey guys, sorry to be coming to you looking like this, but I don't know if I've said anything, but my recliner is broken, and I got the bright idea that I am woman, hear me roar, I'm gonna fix it myself. And I was so proud of myself because I found the two things that were wrong with it. And I've just got to order the parts and screw them back in. But while trying to find a picture of the parts, the chair is separated. The back is sitting in the floor, and the seat of the chair is in front of me. I'm still in the same place. I'm just in my furniture, my double chair. I squeezed it over here, and I'm using my chair as a footrest. Let's see if you can see. Yeah. There's TV. So, some guy said he was going to help me fix it, and he had parts because he had had multiple lazy boys, and he knew that people always needed parts. So, he wanted me to take a picture. You'll learn about this in a minute. Okay, so I had to raise the legs up, not the legs, raise the leg rest up, which is facing me right now. So I pushed it out. I got down on my knees and like in the frog position where your legs are separated, but it's like your butt's on the ground. And then it's actually pretty hard for old people, but I don't have any, I'm very flexible when it comes to stuff like that. Even through the cancer, I can still do that. But then I found myself getting the picture. Good job, April. And I went to pull the handle, but it didn't clear me. It hit me right in the top of the head. Hard. And it knocked me to the ground. Like my head was raised trying to get out, and it knocked me straight on my face. And it was within minutes, I started having clear fluid coming out of my nose and going down my throat. I'm like, I must have had some sinus drainage in there, you know. That's what I thought. No, that was not. It was called cerebral spinal fluid. I think that's what the doctor said. It comes out of from around your brain. And since I whack-a-moled it pretty good, it's just a mild concussion. But I'm constantly swallowing. And my nose, I'm constantly wiping it. He said, you know, a week, I'll be fine. And I know I've missed a few lives because basically I just can't deal with the stuff that y'all have been putting me through. And I needed time to clear my head, not to damage it. Ha ha. But it is kind of funny. But when that thing hit me, I saw stars. I didn't pass out. If I'd have passed out, I'd have had to went to the emergency room. And Lord knows, I've been to emergency rooms during cancer so much that they probably all still would remember me. So it's Friday now, but it's like 1 a.m. So it's really still Thursday for me because it's not the next day until I go to sleep and wake up. And not yesterday, Thursday, but Wednesday, I took my cousin Faye. This is what happens when you do good deeds for people. We're gonna have a session. I ain't gonna get to talk to you about it in person to person. I even paused my movie because we got a lot to talk about. So, number one, Jesus took care of me. Jesus is going to take care of me. And my eyes weren't tracking wrong. They weren't dilated and it was the day after it happened. I mean, the next day got up and I have a cousin and her name is Faye. She's actually not my family. She's my stepdad's niece. And she can't even write her own name. She can't read. She can't drive. She can't cook. She can't do normal things that somebody that's 52 should be able to do. Her parents were not much smarter, but her mom never taught her to clean. They never made her do anything. She was, the baby. And they're both dead now. Her pop is what she called him. Was the last she had left. And her brother and her dad, her pop, died this year already. And she had a hard time. It was the month anniversary of her pop dying. And she lives in the public housing. Some people call it public housing. That's a nice way to put it. Some people call it the projects. And some people call it the brickyard. Because every one of them in every city, in every state that I have ever seen are dark red brick. And the windows on the outside, the screen is black. So it just looks dangerous. And it is dangerous. But I had to drive 1 hour from my house to her apartment. Then I had to drive from her apartment after I picked her up another hour to the hospital. She had melanoma, which, if you didn't know, is skin cancer. And it was right here. And it literally was like this. And it looked like a big plum on her head. And the kids in the neighborhood, when she would sit outside with her dog, they would call her, Satan or a unicorn. Or, just mean stuff. People are ugly to people. Oh, wait a minute. I know that already. But anyway, that wasn't a joke, but it was a joke. I think we've cleared that up. About that, I got something. I'm going to finish this. So, when we left there, the doctor said everything was great. The surgery went well. It was healing well. And he was a more holistic dermatologist. instead of giving her all kinds of creams and stuff, they gave her, like, where you had to do vinegar and warm water and put it on a Q-tip like every 2 hours during the day. And it is healing beautifully. No creams, none of that stuff. And she's like, we left and we got something to drink. And she was like, I don't have anything to eat in my house. And I was like, it's the end of the month. My birthday's coming up. Anyway, sorry about that. Now we're going to start back where I was at. I said, oh, in my head, I was thinking it's coming up on my birthday on Monday. I won't be doing anything because I don't have any friends. So I'll just be sitting here like I am now. But I'm like, I wanted a pair of cowboy boots. That's what I want for my birthday. And I was like, I want to treat myself to a pair of cowboy boots. And not going to do that now. But I did the right thing. Instead of thinking of myself, I thought of her instead. She doesn't have a working microwave. She doesn't know how to cook. She's got a brand new stove that they put in. When I got to the store that she wanted to go to, I only spent $50. They had like this buy one get one free sale, and I didn't think about things like paper towels and toilet paper and, you know, things that you should already have in your house. I was just getting food. And she was like, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back. I'll get your mama, when I see her or your sister, to write out an envelope and I'll put the money in it. I was like, no. It's $50. I ain't worried about it. I did it for you. I didn't do it to get paid back. I'm just stacking good deeds in heaven. That's what I consider it. Whenever I help, hold on. I'm not well. But we'll talk about that too. So we got there and I was like, okay, what do you want for dinner? When we were in there, and she was like, I want spaghetti. I was like, do you like meatballs? And she was like, yeah, I love meatballs. So I got Italian sausage meatballs. And I let her pick it out. There was buy one, get one free on like ragu pasta sauce. And I didn't buy anything that wasn't buy one, get one free or so much off. She's got enough. She eats sandwiches all the time because she can't cook. She wanted bread, tomatoes, mustard, lunch meat, and then we got the spaghetti stuff, and then I got her some sodas. I got her vinegar because she needed some more. She was running out. I don't remember everything, but it came up to like $48 and some change, and she went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry. I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart. Just say thank you and thank Jesus that I was here to help you. And then everything, you know. So then it was raining, horrible, storming. We got back to her house And she said, uh-oh, wait a minute. I forgot to go get my medicine. So we had to leave again before we even got out of the car and went up and one street over and got her medicine, which costed $0, thank goodness, or I would have had to pay for that too. And she's got all kinds of issues going on right now. Annoying issues like hemorrhoids, ladies. I mean, she never had kids. She has problems with her hip because one of her legs is like 4 inches shorter than the other. We don't know what happened. We can speculate what happened. That was the things that I used to hear my stepdad talk about when I would ask why she walked funny. Because I was a kid. I didn't know. I didn't know that she was like 10 years older or 11 years older than me. We used to play hopscotch in the brickyard. There was another old set of projects, which are still in, but they went in and renovated everything. And then Miss Mary, her mom, died. And her and her daddy had to be split up because of the projects. But they had adjoining apartments to where he was like on the side and she was like on the front. So she could walk to him, he could walk to her, covered, walkway. And they would sit out and he would bring her food. See, he was doing it. He was cleaning her house. He was cooking. And she's got a dog. And she just lets the dog pee on the couch. I don't want to get into all that. So I told her I was going to teach her how to cook spaghetti. So get her butt in the kitchen. And she was like, after I finished showing her how to boil pasta, how to see if it's done, how to, how to cook, basically. I went through her cabinets and people had been giving her canned food. People in the projects leave food at her door. And with who's living around her and the issues that they've had with each other, I told her that if it's in a can, okay, but we got to check the bottom of the can for the date. But never eat anything anybody brings you. No. They could poison it. They could do anything. So I said, dump it in the trash. Clean their bowl, their Tupperware, whatever it is. Dry it up. Put it in the bag. Go hang it back on their door the next day. And tell them it was wonderful. And so at least now, she knows what to buy to make spaghetti and how to cook it. I left here at 8 o'clock in the morning and I got home at like 8:30 last night. I was so tired. We went to the graveyard and I saw my grandmother and my grandfather and my stepdad and my stepdad's mom. So she was my grandmother, the only one I knew. I called her Mama. So I saw Ninny and Papa and Mama. And I cried when Faye talked to her brother she never got to meet. She was a baby when he died. And he was in state custody. And they were at a state park here. And they took I think it's like a 2.5 mile hike. At a decent grade, because you're going to a waterfall. And, she had no idea. I remember my parents talking about it. And they said that he was getting out of state custody. And he was in like a group home. And it was called King's Ranch. It was the nicest places that you can go. As group homes go. But he was a teenager. And it was a huge waterfall. And my stepdad said that they were mad, his friends, or he got in fights with everybody because everybody picked on him because of his clothes, because of everything. Him not knowing how to read, him not knowing any, all this. And he was getting out and he was going to be going back home. They deemed the house okay for him to go back and be with his mom and daddy and the rest of his family. My stepdad said somebody pushed him. But they said he fell. But I also heard that he didn't want to go back and he jumped. So we don't know. We just know that he's buried there. And she was talking to him, said, I'm your little sister. You never got to meet me. I can't wait until one day we meet in heaven and we can all be together again. And it was just soaked. And I was so upset because nobody had changed out flowers or anything since Christmas. They were faded. They were pink. Poinsettias. They were pink. And so I jerked all that stuff off. And I was shoving it in grocery store bags. I'm like, that ain't going on my grandmother's grave. Or my papa's grave. Or my anybody's grave that is ours. And they're going to get some more to put on there. My grandmother's still doesn't have grass. They haven't put grass on it yet. And it has like a dip in it and water is pooling in it. So that was that. Then we went back to her house, and that's when I cooked and stayed while she ate. I personally was not going to eat off anything that touched the inside of that house the way it smelled. Just don't know how to clean. You could see dog pee puddles, because they put that cheap grocery store tile in those projects, and I could see the shiny spots where she's peed, and I was like, do you have a mop? And she brought out this, one of those, she said, she doesn't clean. The dog peed on the couch. She just left it. I was like, okay, into that. But you have to do selfless things sometimes. Because guess what happened? As I was leaving, she asked me, my brother-in-law works for Walmart. If you guys have heard of those vac mops, she gave me one. she said that she doesn't know how to use it. She just would mop with a regular mop. She didn't want anything she had to learn how to use. And I was like, are you sure? Because that thing's like $300 at Walmart. And she was like, no, I can't return it. There's no receipt. And the people that brought it back didn't realize that you had upkeep on it, and you had to buy the thing, the roll that hits the floor, and that you had to take it all apart or it would smell moldy. It's in there soaking in bleach. But I got the thing because there's no power cord. So I've got to order the power cord and another one of the brush roll. It's not a brush. It's kind of like a thick cloth. And it was, I like almost took the thing out and put it in the trash. But it's perfectly clean now. And it's the removable parts are soaking in bleach water. I'm going to find out if I can wash in the washing machine the head. But if not, I'm going to order an extra one anyway because, you know, one clean, one dirty. That's my thing. If it's dirty, go ahead and toss it in the wash, put the clean one on, you know. So, end of story. I've told you about this. And last thing, somebody blessed me, one of our family members, when I needed my headlights. And everybody was making me feel like a piece of trash for making a GoFundMe because it was going to cost me so much money. Took it down. Nothing else said about it. But she sent me $350 on Cash App for my headlights. That bought my headlights and my bulbs, and then part of the installation. It ended up being a total of like $675. So basically we pretty much split the price of that. But then I was coming home from my mom's a couple weeks ago, and they weren't pointed right. They were too low. They were pointing at the ground, and I couldn't see 10 feet in front of my car. And there were no lights because it was in the country. And so I just had to put it on bright and go. And once I got to the interstate, it was a lot easier because there's lights everywhere. But I took it back where they put them in, and they were like, oh, we put them in. We do not adjust the pitch on them. And I'm like, could you have told me this when I paid you $340 to put these things in my car? And he was like, well, I'm sorry. I expected that you would know. And I'm like, I've never had a car, number one, that I've ever seen a title to. And I've had the title to this one for like 3 years. It's a 2015. No. I made a chunk payoff, and I only finance it instead of, most people finance for 6 years. That one was only financed for 3.5 or 4 years. But I won't get another car until that one falls apart. But you've seen what they look like. And they told me to go to this place. I'm never giving you the name of anywhere ever again after Luna. There's no way in hell I will give you a name or a location or anything, because you cannot be trusted. The ones of you that, they're probably gone already because I probably already kicked them out. But I went to a place that they said it was like a body shop, paint and body. And the guy was like, can you come back tomorrow and I can pull it inside of the paint building, which was like cinder blocks, and it's like black on the inside, it's painted black. Something about the way it has to is very sterile because of painting cars. Anyway, he came back and he was like, man, those were way off. I had to adjust the left one 3 inches. It was literally only projecting right in front of the car. You could have been killed. I was like, yeah, I know. And we had talked the day before, and he looked at my car and he was like, oh, you've had cancer. I'm like, I didn't choose this, but I love it because God's giving it back to me. Jesus is blessing me with beautiful curls. And he was like, well, you're beautiful and you are a lucky lady, and not just because you have a relationship with Christ means you are a lucky lady. And he took care of you, and that makes you even more lucky. And I went out, he said, and after he told me everything, I got up and I was like, all right, and I got my wallet, and he was like, your money's no good here. I was like, what? And he was like, don't worry about it. It was just a couple of screws, and it was just 30 minutes of me making sure that they were perfect, and if they're not, you come back. And I was astounded. I couldn't even speak, because I figured, okay, they're going to charge me for an hour, and it was like $90 an hour. And I thought, great, another $100 on these damn headlights. And yeah, no. And then I walked outside, and then I walked back in, and they were like, what's going on? And they were laughing, and I said, you ran my car through the car wash? And he was like, whatever tree you're parking near is mold all over your car. And so we have stuff that we just release in the car wash, just melts it right off. My car was completely clean. It was gorgeous. And I started crying. He was like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And there you go. And lastly, I have been contacted by the shelter, and I've told you guys that the dog is going to New Jersey. I don't know if she's went at this point. I haven't talked to them. I don't want to know. I still love her because she was wanted, but I couldn't afford the training that she needed to just be safe. So anyway, they said, if anybody's calling still, this has been a week and a half ago, they said, please quit calling. We have 100 dogs here probably, and we can't answer every phone call every single time somebody calls about Luna to find out why you gave her up and this and that, when you don't have to give us a reason for anything. You did it because she needed training, and more training than we can even give her, with like food aggression and her coming at me in a aggressive, like, I was afraid she was going to rip my throat out kind of way. And I said, I'm sorry. It is people on my YouTube channel, and I've gotten rid of as many of them that has ripped me a new asshole. And I said, I don't have any access to them. When you call, when you answer, when anybody answers, put a sticky note on the phone that if anybody calls about Luna that is out of state, just hang up. Just hang up. Because they're not coming to get her. They're just being nosy. They're just being nosy. So just quit calling. And that's the end of it. So this was pretty much what I was going to tell you tomorrow night. So I accidentally hit stop halfway through it. So it's going to go from one to the next, even though it was just a split second that I was off. I had to backtrack just a little bit to make sure. So I'm going to upload this. It is now Friday morning. And Fridays I normally have my lives. I should be okay by Sunday. I'll probably still be sitting here with a broke ass recliner, but at least, you know, maybe my head will be feeling a little bit better. But anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you had a wonderful week. And I'm sorry I've not put up a regular post like this in a while. But you can understand where I'm coming from when I feel like I have been betrayed by everybody. And me and my dog was of no concern to any of you. I bought her, well, paid her fee. I bought her food. I made her food. I did everything. Nobody was here helping me. Y'all weren't here helping me. You didn't see what happened. I posted pictures of all the scars. She would have killed me. I think that she would have probably killed me in my sleep. She had something wrong. And they put timid and all this stuff. It's the same picture from when she was 12 weeks old when I got her. And it said, I still had the envelope, like the big envelope with all her medical stuff in it. And it said timid, loving, cuddly. There was nothing. That dog, if I picked her up, you could see on the videos, I had to get up and go get her, chase her across the house, get her. And then as soon as she would get up and let y'all see her, she would just be jerking and herking and jerking and jump down. She didn't want nothing apart, nothing with me. She didn't want nothing with me. I was just the person who fed her. That's exactly the way it was. Because if she wasn't eating or if we weren't outside, she was under the couch, which another 2 weeks she wouldn't have fit, or she was laying on her orthopedic bed, which I was able to return $193 worth of dog stuff. That's how much I loved her. $193 worth of dog stuff back to Amazon. And I told them I just didn't have the dog anymore. And they didn't care why. But it asked for a reason. And so, it's a credit in there because I'm going to start doing some crafting and stuff. Maybe do some stuff for Christmas and go to one of the bazaars. And I did it again. I hit the button. So now there's going to be 3 sections to this video. But anyway, I love you guys. You guys are my YouTube family. Please pray for me. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Much love. Bye.